Yeah, unfortunately, Meta has nothing to do with the company other than it's on their store, and Meta won't invoke anything against them. They're not like with Ghost of Tabor. Meta's a co-publisher; they would step in if there was a problem. But with contractors, they won't. We actually own the trademark to Skill Issue for any clothing and digital merchandise, and we sent it to Meta with a cease and desist because they released that Skill Issue skin. They did nothing about it. Yeah, they did nothing. They did nothing about it. They didn't care. Contractors didn't care. We talked to Lon directly. Lon's like, whatever, I don't care. We're in China, sue us.
Yo,
What's up, man? How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Another beautiful day. Another beautiful day. So I guess let's start with Lon, right? And VREL. This has nothing to do with Showdown or anything of that. This is just me hating Lon for who he is.
Absolutely.
Lon, in my eyes, is a deceptive scumbag. And Strive and Lon were banned from VREL because when I was the CEO of VREL, the Contractors League, we had it exclusively and it was our biggest thing. This is before I stepped away from VREL completely. We had to ban Lon because when you had SKS, Strive, Leftovers, and who's the other one? There was another big team. SKS.
UMAD.
Man, what's their names? UMAD clan.
Mm-hmm.
It was UMAD. They did stuff with Apex too, and he did the same thing with Apex. But it started with SKS and UMAD. When it came time for Lon's team, for Strive, to compete against one of these other guys, and they commit a violation, Lon was an admin at VREL in the Contractors League. And after I had left, Lon was bullying the directors of VREL into, you either do it this way and you get this person suspended for this week, which always lined up to being when they had to play Strive. Or we're going to pull official support from VREL as the official Contractors League, and you're not going to get the $10,000 in prize money that we're promising you, which, by the way, never came from Contractors.
So
that's... Then Lon, there was another league that popped up. I can't remember the name of it, but Lon got banned from VREL, Strive got banned from VREL, and then another like little league popped up that Lon was a part of. And there was this Irish guy. What was the name of it? It's not VRPL. It was before VRPL. It was right during VREL's thing. It had like a blue and black logo or something like that.
VRML
No, not VRML. I'll think of it and send it to you. But so
Dub
their
City
founder,
Esports?
who was Dub City, fucking Dub City.
Mm.
I remember who the guy is. He's Irish. He called me, man. This was October of 2022. I remember because I was in Orlando, and that's when the big Hurricane Ian hit Florida where I live, and we evacuated to Orlando to get off because we live on the coast. He called me, cussing me like a dog, telling me I was a piece of shit, all of this stuff for banning Lon and how we were going to regret it. Dub City's taking the official title, all this other stuff. My response was, cool, you'll ban him in a month. And I told him why he would ban him, these exact reasons. He continued telling me I was a fucking idiot. I got off the phone. He cussed at me a bunch. I didn't care. So I get off the Discord call. Literally like a month later, they announced that Lon and Strive are banned from Dub City Esports for the exact same shit the REL banned from for. We also know, and it was reported to Lon on multiple occasions by myself, Mikhail DeFresny, and other people in Contractors, including like people like TBG Dog, that people were using cheats, and we even gave them the cheats. We gave them directly to Lon since he is our contact to the developers. We ended up talking to KC Monkey after the whole Lon banning thing. Lon never turned over any of that cheat software or the people that were cheating to the developers to have them banned. They never even knew about it.
So I have two questions. So
Sure.
Ooh, I'm so high, I forgot about him. Shit. What were you saying about just now? Say what were you saying about just now? Your last sentence.
That we had turned over all the cheats that people had
Oh yeah.
reported to
So
us
the
and people
creator.
using said cheats.
So the creators themselves are ultimately corrupt, right? We know the developers at Caveman Studios are corrupt, and I don't know how much.
I don't know that for a fact.
Yeah. We don't. You would not be
I don't know that.
able to say that even at this point, but
No, I mean, honestly, I don't know that. I don't interact with them because they don't. From my interactions with KC Monkey, like before Showdown was ever even a thing, his English is not the greatest, so he didn't speak to a lot of people. All he told us was Lon never told me about the cheats. That's all. That's the only conversation I've ever had. He's maybe said a sentence to me.
So we have a line of logic of Lon is like before we said Peanut Bow said that Shadowhawk is good friends with Lon and that Lon knows that he is joking and that Lon knows what he did. Like at what point does Lon become guilty of something and should not be employed at Caveman? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, Lon shouldn't have been employed at Caveman the moment he was using his position at Caveman at VREL to win money, to enforce rules upon other players, so his team would win. He should have fired immediately.
And so how do you think that might be able to be brought to light in a... so let's say this. I went to Thrill Seekers Discord. I filed a ticket and talked about talking about Shadowhawk not being banned, about all this harassment and stuff. Lon is being corrupt and whatnot. But now I'm learning that Lon has been responsible as a employee of Caveman Studios for, fixing, tournament fixing, for attempted tournament fixing. Absolutely. For money and whatnot, and so it's like, who picks up the story, right?
I don't know, but I can tell you I don't believe that you could ever explain it to a way that, for me talking to Mikhail DeFresny, who used to be the head moderator over there and deal with Lon and KC Monkey at Caveman and them, I don't think they would ever even do anything about it. I'm pretty sure they know about it.
Absolutely. I've read interviews. I Google translated from Chinese to English. These guys, Kung Ku, coming out, interviewing, stepping out from the taxi, cigarette butts in the ashtray. And it's just, you just get the idea that these people are just entirely disconnected from the people that I get. Let me tell you, right? I was this big old harasser, right? That harassed people to no end allegedly, but Shadowhawk 30 has been helping me do this whole time. Keep in mind, he's not banned. Now I'm contacting people, still sharing memes with them each time, and I get a message from one of these people. They say I emailed Caveman Studios to tell them how disappointed I am, or to ask them to do something. It's just like, holy shit! You hear that from them, right? You hear that from these people, these poor people, the everyday player that, I just wanted to play.
Yeah. No, I mean, I get it. I just don't know what other than anyone's going to be able to do to stop it. I mean, at the end of the day, unfortunately, they do live in a little place called China, and they don't really care.
I learned the Hong Kong protest anthem is now an illegal song.
Yeah, China's a wild place. But yeah, so I don't know really what you can do to get Lon fired. I figured he would have been fired a long time ago. He never was, unfortunately. I hope he rests in piss. I can't stand the guy. I think he's the biggest scumbag on the planet in VR. He did a lot of things that most companies would fire you for immediately, and it doesn't seem that Caveman really cared. Maybe they don't know the full story. Maybe they don't understand because it wasn't translated. I don't know. I can't fault them.
No,
really, in any way, shape, or form.
I'm not willing to accept this translation. No. I get this. Michael gave that to me earlier, the translation thing, right? I don't want to accept that. It's not a translation error, dude. Come on.
I get it. But, I mean, what? I don't know any other reason why they wouldn't terminate him. I don't know why. All I know is what he did at VREL, and that he was banned, and then he was banned at Dub City for the same thing, and so was his entire team. And he's still working at Caveman, and I hear that it's pretty bad, and he's really the reason that I don't play Showdown. He actually removed Infish Jonas when Jonas was playtesting a long time ago. Jonas loved Showdown when it was in the closed alpha or the open alpha.
You make me want to get a list.
Yeah, he banned Infish, revoked his access while he was playing.
You're just making me want to write a list of players that just get banned by Lon, right?
It's Lon. Yeah, it's Lon. But Shadowhawk was there. I mean, Bonavosky, like all these guys were there and felt Lon's pressure, and some of them were cheating at the time, supposedly. Some of them weren't. Bonavosky was actually one of the guys that found the cheats and were working with contractors and trying to get Lon to shut it down, and he just ignored all the evidence and hid it and never showed the devs. And now people are running rampant. Just so you know, people are running rampant, and contractors now cheating like insane in Showdown. It's utterly insane. There's already websites,
the videos. Yeah, and the
I just sent a huge cease and desist because Combat Waffle, we're just going after cheaters, the developers directly, and I emailed every single person. There were 24 games a cheat developer is making cheats for, and I emailed Showdown, no response. I emailed them with my lawyers attached, emailing the cheat developer, threatening legal action. Contractors did not respond. Blink an eye. All the other developers responded, but them. And that includes Team 17. That includes Rust. Includes ARC. I heard back from all of their legal teams going after this guy. Showdown did not respond to anybody, to us at once. So
So I one of the people on my team, I guess we'll call it. They would call themselves an ethical hacker, whatever that means.
Mm-hmm.
And they
the white hat.
Yeah, probably a white hat. And they were talking to me, and they told me the name Wei-Han Lu, right, of the founder of Caveman Studios. And I'm sitting there, so at this point, you're telling me enough people are still going to their LinkedIn, still going to like Meta's partners, right, and going and complaining to these people, and it's still not enough for them to change their mind. Like what is?
Yeah, unfortunately, Meta has nothing to do with the company other than it's on their store. Meta won't invoke anything against them. They're not like with Ghost of Tabor. Meta's a co-publisher; they would step in if there was a problem. But with contractors, they won't. We actually own the trademark to Skill Issue for any clothing and digital merchandise. And we sent it to Meta with a cease and desist because they released that Skill Issue skin.
The charm,
they did nothing about it.
The skin.
Yeah, they did nothing. They did nothing about it. They didn't care. Contractors didn't care. We talked to Lon directly. Lon's like, whatever, I don't care. We're in China, sue us.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Welcome to the world, man. Yeah. Mikael to Lon directly. He's like, whatever.
Oh my god, this is starting to get a little bit much. All right.
Yeah, it's Lon's got a pretty deep hole behind his name, unfortunately. So when you start digging, you only have to dig a couple more inches to find something new.
Fuck Denny's. All my fuck with IHOP. No. No,
sorry. I got you on speaker next to my kid, so I'm trying not to react so she doesn't repeat it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're good. No, you're good. You're good. If I react and say something and think it's funny, then she'll think it's funny, and then she'll say it.
Yeah. So, So you're telling me you're telling me every person at the chain of command from top to bottom, the player who buys the headset at $200 to the developer at Combat Waffle Studios, is basically like, all right, we can't we can't do anything.
In my opinion, legally, because it's a Chinese company, you can't. If it was a German company, if it was anywhere but China or Iraq or North Korea or one of these communist countries or Russian, you could. But when it comes to those, I have international lawyers. They can't touch them because
have you resorted to satire, my friend?
No. No. No, Lon knows where we stand. Casey knows where we stand. We've made our point pretty clear without going at them directly on socials. And that's all I can do at this point. But yeah, there's the only thing every player can do is refund if they want to make a difference. All they can do is refund the game. But I mean, I don't think that'll help either because it's a fun game. Like it's a fun game. They made a good game, but unfortunately, like regular Contractors, as someone that played OG Contractors in 2018, I think it'll go the same way it did with that game, and it'll go away for a couple of years and be crap, and then finally more money, so then they'll update it. It's caveman's just sort of development schedule that they do, unfortunately, from a player's perspective and a developer's perspective.
I would. All right, then. You know what? My next option for me, for my course of action, as much as it would really be, I would want to just sit here and convince Estrays to just disband VRPL as much more than anything. Like what the doohickey is that dude doing, running that thing in a sense, you know? Because when you
I didn't know Estrellas ran it. I had no idea.
did you see and hear about how much he was harassed by
I did. Yeah,
Apex?
that all started at VREL. Yeah.
And cease and desists and that he had
Yeah, I
to
heard about
do.
that.
So so now you're telling me that basically comes down to we're a Chinese company, sue us. So
Well, I mean, Apex isn't China. Or you mean when?
because they're friends. Lon is Shadow's friend.
Lon's not in China. Lon's in Spain. He can be sued.
Spain.
Lon lives in Spain. He doesn't live in China. Lon's
España.
not Chinese.
You're
Yeah, John.
You're right. He does have a Spanish name.
Yeah, Lon's in Spain. I met Lon in person at Augmented World Expo.
Is there any way? Is there any way you think I would be able to apply pressure to perhaps dissuade conferences from hosting Caveman Studios at future conferences?
I mean, if you can present a valid case, then yeah.
Do you think that there are any expos that would perhaps be upcoming or
Gamescom in Germany.
Gamescom in Germany?
Augmented World Expo in California.
World Expo, California.
Augmented World Expo. Yep, AWE.
Oh yes,
San
yes.
Diego
Two years ago, Lon did a speech there.
Yes, 2 years ago he did a speech there, and he was there because VREL was there with a booth in the play space area, and we had Contractors showing live to all the attendees and people playing it live alongside Echo. That's where I met Lon, and that's where he promised VREL $10,000 in prize money directly from the studio, and it never came to fruition. Or maybe he got the money and he just kept it. I don't know what happened to it. It just never made it to VREL.
See, even a streamer like Vape Life Yo, I'm sitting here, you know. Yesterday, I was messing with his stream, you know, and he messaged me just now. Backdoor exploits. He's questioning me about Lon's corruption. Although that one's Quantum Tiger though said that though. Is it true that Lon? I think you denied that Lon might have been placing some sort of backdoor exploits on the maps or something.
We had always been told that Lon had a cheat, which is why we believe he hid it from the developers. He was already using the cheat that allowed him to adjust people's health on his team or on the game without their knowledge, where it would still show, sort of like a modified cheat engine. We believe that he did have that ability, but we could never prove it.
Of course not.
There was no way to prove it, right? That we couldn't prove it. But when Stride would play without Lon, they were still good, but they weren't amazing. But when Lon played, they were amazing.
Shadowhawk sent me this would be an interesting cheat to send to you. He sent me a cheat. Can you tell me what kind of cheat this is in CS? Let me find the video.
In Showdown?
Base game. Hold on.
Oh, in Contractors.
Yeah. Let me find it. It's basically walls, but people show up like magma, like they look through magma, like magma through walls.
Oh, they're like a color.
Yeah, like bright orange.
Yeah, yeah. It's called chams.
Yeah, Shadow sent me that, and
They
then
they added they added a material that the engine uses, that Unreal Engine actually uses, or Unity engine, but Showdown's built in, and Contractors is built in Unreal, just like mine. And you actually have to go into the engine and have an anti-cheat specialist or a really knowledgeable developer block the ability to change that material that is assigned to certain objects, which is usually assigned to players or movable objects. So then you can see players' bright colors through walls. It's really big and flat screen. Yeah, it's called CHAMS. CHAMS.
Oh, I love how that shows up as an ethnic group in Southeast Asia. Okay. Oh,
Yeah. Let me get my daughter to bed, and I'll call you back here in just a couple minutes. I just gotta tuck her in, tell her good night. No, it's not no, it's not native. It's just something they can do. Like my anti-cheat specialist was a huge cheater across multiple games for years until he turned white hat. And if you're good at cheating or developing cheats in Unreal Engine or Unity, it's just sort of something you can crack through any game that doesn't have a proper anti-cheat. Unfortunately, Contractors and Contractor Showdown both use EAC, which we also used to use on Tabor, and we stopped using because it's completely penetrable and like a hot knife through butter. It took my anti-cheat specialist 20 minutes to have a working Tabor cheat when we had him test the system, and I think he said it took him about the same amount of time when he tested other games like Contractor Showdown. He was able to develop a cheat for Showdown in about 20 minutes, where he could fly even. Sort of interesting, yeah. Interesting thought process. No, I mean you can go buy these. I could send you discords right now that are developing working cheats for Showdown as long as you can get verified to get in them. Like they're selling them. We have alts across all of the VR cheats. Yeah, yeah. I don't think he'll do anything to get Lon removed personally. Uh, Even though I agree that he should be, I don't think you'll see them ever get rid of Lon. Um, I believe Lon has their ear pretty well, and he tells them the stories that they believe, and they just trust
Thank you.
Lon. And I don't think he's going anywhere anytime soon. Yes, I think if you could talk to KC Monkey, you might. I don't know. See, I don't have any interactions with them. I like to think that they're not, though. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I have his email if you want his email. Not KC, lead dev, owner. But I can tell you, as someone that has LinkedIn Premium, I don't look at LinkedIn, and I don't accept 90% of the messages that come to my LinkedIn. Yeah, I don't. I try not to look at LinkedIn because it's usually a bunch of, unfortunately, like Indian the workers wanting to. Hey, Clark, back to bed. Then go pee in your bathroom. It's a bunch of usually like Indians like trying to get you to like use their services and shit like that. So we don't look at it. You could find a native Chinese speaker or write your message out and then use a translation service to actually translate it to Chinese. That would probably be your best way of communicating with Casey. Just that way you can eliminate the excuse of, I don't understand what you sent me. And you could always approach somebody like Henry Stockdale at Upload VR. He's an independent journalist for them. To your bed now, Henry Stockdale. Yeah, he's one of the journalists for Upload VR. I don't know if he would ever write the article, but you know, that's the one journalist I can tell you that I know and that I trust as a CEO of a game studio. I trust Henry to tell a real story, to tell the truth in his stories that he writes if he has information and if he feels like he can do anything with the story, he would be the one that would do it. Yeah, I talked to Henry. He's a good cat. If he thinks he can do anything with it, or I mean, that's his call. What he decides to do with the information you give it. But if anyone's gonna write it and be truthful, it would be him. But you know, at the end of the day, it's up to him. I can't speak for him. Yeah, you know, it's a very controversial topic to go against such a one a good game, and two such a well-known studio that created two good games. And that game is pretty hot on meta right now. So I don't know what he'll do. I don't know what anybody would do, but it's a pretty controversial topic that you hold evidence of. Just make sure when you bring it to him, sit down and take a day or two to write it out and approach him with a very well thought out, documented, clear case. Yeah. Yeah. I've been told multiple times that Shadow's currently cheating in Showdown, but I don't have any proof of it. Yeah. I don't know that he's exploiting Tabor. If he could, I think that Shadow probably would. Our backend systems check for known exploits and people being able to cheat or do anything like that with our new system that we built, and it's catching people daily. Shadow has not thrown any flags in our system, but I know of Shadow, and if someone violates our EULA and violates our privacy policy, or we yes, we have the VRIC that we're currently developing with our own kernel level anti-cheat that is going to be mobile game friendly called Tomahawk. While we have BattleEye, we're developing our own because we feel like we can do it a little bit better, uh, and we can control it and know exactly what we need to do for VR games. And then the VRIC, if I caught Shadowhawk, and he's really good friends with Rips Actual, who works for us as a QA tester. If Shadow is cheating, yeah, he's a good cat. Really good guy. Rips is a good guy. But if Shadow was doing anything to violate our EULA agreement, I would permanently ban him and every bit of the hardware that he has currently that we can track, and he would never be allowed in Tabor again. That's anybody. That's anybody. I don't care if it's one of the developers themselves on an alt account. They're banned and they're fired. No tolerance, zero. Oh, on LinkedIn? Oh, on Discord. I mean, you could say that, but he doesn't have, there's no read receipts. So you could always send an email and include a read receipt. So then you know he sees it. As far as I know, Lon doesn't play our game. If you ever find out Lon does play Tabor, please let me know so I can ban him. But as far as I know, he does not. Not that I could tell you outside of what I know about Lon with VREL, and again, a bunch of speculation, but the only stuff proven fact is his rigging and fixing of tournaments to win money and using his position to do it. I don't I I think I don't know, honestly. I know there were 3 developers for Contractors and for Showdown. KC being the main developer. One of them worked part-time for Caveman and for Pico. That individual has left supposedly and went to Pico full-time. And then one of them worked part-time for HTC and Caveman. And I believe he is still part-time with HTC and Caveman in China. No, not. I don't think Showdowns. I don't. Oh, you mean vanilla, like old school Contractors? Oh, I have no idea. I have no idea. Um, oh, in China, I mean, maybe Mod IO. Well, Pico is also in Europe. It was very heavily marketed in Europe. So like where we just released on Pico, we only released in Pico Europe. We did not release in Pico China because anyone that buys a game for their Pico headset in China is not allowed to play with anyone outside of China unless they're doing it illegally. I would say Mod.io probably just doesn't have servers in China, which is the biggest part of the reasons we haven't released Tabor in Pico China, because you have to have a Chinese company to get those servers. Like for our deal, like Pico's getting those servers for us, kind of a thing. And it's just a big, long, drawn-out, pain-in-the-butt process. But I would say that's probably why Mod.io doesn't have the servers. And Mod.io cost contractors a ton of money, and there maybe not be a big enough player base to basically say, oh, we're just going to spend this much money with Mod.io, and they don't make that much money on it in China. What costs you $19 here? What a developer makes $19 on a U.S. sell. You go to China and sell a copy, and you only make $2 because of the currency conversion rate. Be pretty funny. Yeah. Yeah, I saw that. No, I mean, but they're not playing it in China. You're not playing with anybody from China. You're playing with all U.S. and EU players and Australian players. You're you're not going into the Chinese lobbies though. You're going into Asia lobbies. You're going into Japan, Singapore. You're not going into China. China's servers are completely separated. You cannot play with a Chinese player. Yeah, 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 basically, yeah. Yeah, none of them are Chinese. I mean, you may have some Chinese players that VPN out and play outside, like, and they play in like Japan or they play in Singapore. Usually their ping will be crazy high, like in the 200s. Um, but yeah, all Chinese players only play with other Chinese players. They're private servers that no other player outside of China can get into. You can't even VPN into it. No, no. Yeah, the Russians are the same way. Russians can play on non-Russians like country servers, but yeah, the CCP keeps stuff locked down pretty hard. They don't want you having an opinion over there. Yeah. So, but yeah, man, if you can think of anything else I can help with, let me know. As far as VREL goes, VREL went with Lon. He fixed games. He used his position at Caveman to do it, and feel free to quote me on that. Yeah, cool. All right, man. Have a good one. You got it, brother. Bye bye.